folks, and welcome to another American Song Contest after party. We are live and in full effect. And as per usual, I am joined by my mom. Say hi, Mom.
Hello, good evening.
Thank you, Mom. And then we also have one of my favorite Eurovision friends, but who is also an American joining us. So, Sam, please introduce yourself and give all the plugs.
Hello, everybody. My name is Samantha Ross. You may remember me from some of Felicia's work last year. I appeared on a couple of those Ladies' Choice live streams, which were so much fun. I am one of the contributors and co-creators of the 12 Points from America podcast. So if you have room in your heart and in your ears to listen to another podcast, you can find us at 12 Points USA on all the normal places. And this year, I'm actually going to be working. Hey there, Yolanda. I'm going to be working with the official Eurovision team this year in Turin. So I have to be super neutral when it comes to the European contest, which means I can let it all hang out when it comes to the American Song Contest. So thank you for giving me the platform to vent.
Of course. And vent we will, but I'm also not alone. And you're going to have to introduce yourself because I don't have my other camera's not working. So
I'm sorry?
So introduce yourself to people on the show.
Hi, my name is Lee. No background in any of this. I'm very opinionated with a lot of things, so I will just give my thoughts, but no background in singing or any judging of any kind. So,
but you know what? We have Lee here because you are really you are somewhat of I wouldn't say an average American, but you might have more in common with the casual viewers than perhaps myself and Sam, correct?
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, whatever you say.
All right. Everyone is excited because Lee is back on the stream. Now, we always kick off with who we liked the most. So, Sam, since this is your first time here, who did you like the most this evening?
Oh, man. You know what? I was really impressed by Sweet Taboo. I thought that they were just serving so much energy and joy. It was really very infectious. I definitely was feeling Guam. I thought that we've had a handful of sort of islandy kind of feeling songs this year. Honestly, American Samoa brought it as well. I really felt myself swept up with Full Circle. And, Ada Leanne, I thought was actually really impressive as well. I don't begrudge her the jury win.
Okay. And Lee, what was your favorite this evening?
Yeah, I would probably, was her name Tennille?
Tennille from American Samoa.
Yeah, I think she was great. I also like the guy that came afterwards, which again, I'm not a big country fan, but
North Carolina.
Yeah, North Carolina. His song's really, really good. I don't know. I think there was a lot of, again, we'll get into this, but I don't know why Cisco decided to do on that show.
Okay.
It was not a good look. I'm telling you.
Okay.
These big time artists come back. I don't know why. It's no advantage for them to do this. I don't know why they decide that it's his song was clearly bad, just like Jewel was 2 weeks ago. And again, these are artists that are very accomplished. They made a lot of money, but these songs were not good. And so I don't know why they chose to do this.
Okay, well, we're kicking off with what we liked. So, Mom, what was your favorite entry this evening?
American Samoa.
You don't pronounce it that way.
Samoa.
It is. Okay.
With Tennille.
Mm-hmm.
Is that how you say her name?
Correct.
Yes. I loved her voice. I loved the song. And she has a beautiful smile.
Okay, great. Yeah, so I think it's weird because I'm not going to lie, I don't think I had a runaway favorite this evening. Ultimately, this for me was probably one of the weaker weeks, but I also recognize the fact that a lot of what was being served just isn't really my thing. I think the majority of songs tonight were message songs, and that is not really my thing. And then also we had the two Taylor-like songs, and that's just not really my thing either. So I think that this was a more challenging week for me personally. But I will say, until we got the note that was not hit, in American Samoa. I would say that that one actually was kind of cruising to be my favorite for the evening, but then we had the note that wasn't hit. And although I don't think that John was serving us, telegenic, why don't we fire it up? I really liked that song. I kind of was like, this is just like tailor made for, iHeart Country format.
For an audio format, certainly, I could definitely see the appeal there. Again, I have nothing against the song. I mean, I'm not necessarily a country fan. It's just not necessarily the genre I normally go for. I can appreciate a good country song, but it's just not what I normally reach for. If somebody says, "Hey, Sam, put on the radio," the thing that bothered me about North Carolina, though, was the fact that he wasn't connecting to the camera and down the lens in the way that you kind of expect and you kind of hope in a televised competition setting. And we're granted, as Eurovision fans, we're sort of spoiled on that, but people are really they should be very, very well attuned in order to connect down the camera. He didn't seem as engaged and engaging. And part of that was by wearing the baseball cap that was shading his eyes. You couldn't really see that. And, it's a look, it's, you do you, but you'd have to be able to work your look in order to be able to connect, especially if you're trying to get people at home to vote for you. But
Samantha,
I can definitely.
Yeah.
Well,
Samantha,
we can dig into the entry when we get there, because we might have some people join us. So I want to make sure that we go through the show, and so let's kick off. And let's talk about what qualified from last week. We had Washington advance. Obviously, that was our jury pick and winner. Then we had Massachusetts, who was in the jury pick last week, and then and was able to hold on to that qualification. But then we had New Hampshire and Georgia hop up into that qualification bucket. And I will say, I think the benefit of this is showing the jury scores so then people can kind of target out who they want to vote for. And I think that really did help both Georgia and New Hampshire. But I would say last week on the stream, Mom, you and Gwen loved New Hampshire. I think New Hampshire was giving message song vibes and the vocal was good. I think Georgia was serving us a little bit funky with attitude. And I think I had said this before, but she really has somewhat of a following already. So I kind of wasn't surprised to see that she was able to make it through. And then we have to say, I said it in the first stream that there was no way that we were going to be having a final without Nubu Goofin. I mean,
it's so true.
I was like, they're going to figure it out.
Yeah.
They're going to figure it out how to put them in there. Right. And they sure did. So now we get to Nubu Goof all the way into the final. What are your reactions to what advanced from last week? Which I would just say, I think last week was our most competitive week. Personally, to me, that felt like the most competitive week.
Absolutely, 1000% agree. I am still. I'm ticked off and brokenhearted that we've lost both Bree Steves and the Crystal Method. I am gutted for that. I'm Crystal Method fan since time immemorial, it seems. So to lose the singer or the act, I should say, that was third of the jury, it's unexpected and sad and frustrating. It's also unexpected and sad and frustrating to also lose Bree from Pennsylvania, who I thought was a force. And I unfortunately wasn't able to hop in on last week's discussion, but if there was any discussion on the sort of diversity or lack thereof, I think we've sort of done ourselves a disservice by losing Bree in many, many ways. I'm okay with Georgia making it through. I think that we didn't really have a ton of sort of upbeat female bops with the exception of Alexa and Wonderland. So I think having her go on to the next level is definitely, I'm happy to see more of that. New Hampshire wasn't my personal favorite. I loved her attitude. I love the look. The song just wasn't personally for me. I like her more than I like the song. I'm just still brokenhearted over Nevada in particular. And I'm not surprised to see Nubu Goofin make it through. Just like you said, it seemed to be destined to make it through. Yeah. But it means it's one less spot that's available for somebody else. And if there's anybody out there listening, Nevada and maybe Minnesota, but I'm biased. Hi from
Well,
Minneapolis.
Minnesota might make it because if we're basing it off streams, Minnesota's doing quite well in that endeavor.
Well, yes, but at the same time, how are they balancing it out? The fact that they've had since week 1 to get their music streamed.
Exactly.
Is it done, by week, or is it proportional? How are they doing? Again, they haven't necessarily been transparent with a lot of this process. So what'll happen will happen.
Yeah. Mom, what do you think of what ended up making it through?
So I was pleased with the judges' selections in terms of Washington State, Massachusetts, and even Georgia. And I was pleasantly surprised to see New Hampshire make it. Samantha, like you, I really like Pennsylvania. For me, in terms of choice of music, Pennsylvania's style was a little bit more my cup of tea than New Hampshire. But I think what Mary was representing in terms of America, I think she did an excellent job doing that. Now, unlike you, Samantha, the Crystal method was just a little bit too much going on for me on the stage. So I'm okay with them not being in the semifinals. So
All
that's
right, well, let's move on to Illinois, who opened up the show. That was Justin Jesso with Lifeline. I really liked his vocal tone. It felt warm, and he definitely had range. I felt like, there was a moment he was taking us to church, and I think I got there. I wasn't just in the parking lot. I walked into the church. I don't know if I sat down and stayed, but I was in there. And I love that he plays the piano. Again, this is a message song, so it's not really my thing. But I liked the overall package. Lee, what did you think of Illinois? That was our guy who started off the show.
He's good. I mean, he's obviously talented. I don't know if I like all these background stories before they go up, because he just seemed really actually a little bit too confident. But I think it was really original. I don't think he was the greatest singer, but I in terms of the song itself, it was very original. Very good. So I overall enjoyed his song.
Okay, Mom, what did you think of Illinois?
So I liked his vocals. I liked the staging. I thought was great. A lot of energy, and Samantha, I feel like his personality came across in his song, unlike the North Carolina guy. I thought North Carolina's video showed his personality, but in the performance, there was nothing. But at any rate, going back to Illinois, I think he's going to be a fan favorite. So I'm feeling like he's going to make it to the semifinals. That's my thought.
Okay, Sam.
My thought on the song was he definitely has confidence. A lot of that personality definitely came through. There were 2 things that bothered me. One, the random foot on piano moment I found to be very, what the crap was that about? And also, I felt like the song was in the wrong tempo. At times, he felt very rushed. It almost felt like the song was longer than it was supposed to be originally, and they had to kind of compress it. And it felt very rushed. And at times, he felt almost out of breath as he was trying to go from here to there to here to there. And it was a little bit distracting for me. I think as we progress to the semifinals, whether we see Justin's Lifeline there or not, he's already a winner. I'm not sure if you remember, but he's actually one of the composers behind Connecticut. He's responsible for Michael Bolton's song. So take it as you will. Whether that is a pro or a con, that is up to you. So, I think Justin has already kind of won by double dipping into both Illinois and Connecticut. So good for him. But there was something about that tempo that just kind of distracted me and took me out of the moment. And just keep your feet off of the darn piano. Has your mother not taught you manners? Come on.
I will say I do think a lot of people heard that. There was something where it did feel like, okay, let's just do it a little bit quicker. And so we did that. And before, well, and so then, and so before we move on and talk about California, I want to bring up to the stage one of our special guests this evening. Let's see if he okay. Yep, I've got the special guest, and it's our DC representative. Neither. How are you?
Hey, man.
What's up? What's up?
Hey. How's
It's
it
so
going?
great to see you. I know you are out, so we don't have a lot of your time. But if you could just kick off and just give us a synopsis of what your experience was like performing on the stage at the American Song Contest.
Oh, one more time, just to be clear. You said give a synopsis of what I performed?
Yeah, just how did you feel like getting
Oh,
on the stage there at the American Song Contest?
yo, ASC was an incredibly amazing experience for me. I mean, I think you pull a pool of 56 amazing artists and songwriters together is going to be so many different genres and so many different like people, I guess, working behind the scenes in music. So you're going to get the music. For me, I think it was more important to kind of really pay homage to the city and to the areas I came from. So um, my music is like a hint of pop, is like a hint of R&B, but for me, I really wanted to see like go-go and beat your feet like on a national and international stage. So good experience for me. I think mission accomplished. From my perspective, I had a good time.
Well, that's so great to hear. And I think the next thing I have is, okay, who are you rooting for moving forward? I'm sure you've watched some of the show. Maybe you didn't catch tonight, but do you have some favorites that you'll be rooting for?
Man, so many amazing acts. I don't understand why Ryan Charles is off of the show from Jump. So I'm glad to see him back. Ryan should have never been off that show. My homie Alan, of course, Alan's incredible. Definitely rooting for Stella. Man, I don't know. So many amazing artists. Mari, Savannah, like yo, I don't know. It's anybody's game, I guess, at this point. But so much amazing music on the show already, you know.
Well, I love this. And one of the things that's so cool, I think, about Eurovision, which I normally am covering, is the fact that we get to see all of these folks kind of interact with each other. And we are going to get some of that in this moment, even though you are back here in DC. We're gonna reunite you a little bit with some other ASC competitors, and we're bringing up to the stage Alabama's representatives, Nico. It's Nico, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
perfect.
Oh, okay, I got it, and I'm so happy. We've got two, well, not three participants, but two of our states represented here on the stream. It's so great to have y'all. And I had already asked Neither, you know, his experience getting on the stage. What did it feel like on the stage? Like in the, well, because it's not really an arena, it's like a sound stage
Yeah.
sort of
Well,
situation. How did it feel?
yeah. Well, first of all, what's up, Neither?
Yes,
Uh,
hi everyone.
yeah, I just want to say it's been really, before we even talk about the stage, it's been really nice. Like you were just talking about getting to know the other contestants. Like we met him last week, right, when we were back for results,
Yeah.
and he was like so nice, and then he like killed his performance. So I think that it's just super cool to be able to like meet the other contestants and like hopefully get to collab in the future with them and everything.
It feels like a family. Like we keep calling it like a family reunion of like old family members you haven't seen
Yeah.
in forever.
Except you never knew them.
Except you never knew them.
It's like, yeah, you go to the family reunion, your mom's like, you don't know them, but back in the day. And then
Okay. But yes, the stage. It felt we told people sorry, am I interrupting? Oh, maybe.
Are we having technical difficulties or?
yes.
Oh no, and now we can't hear.
Oh, Elisa, you're on mute, my dear.
Your mic's muted.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say I might pull you out, Neither, so then you can so you can refresh and log back in. Okay. Yay. I think we got you back.
Yay! Okay. Good.
Okay, so you all weren't able to see this evening, Nico. So you guys haven't watched yet because you're still sort of
Not
in
yet.
LA. But what do
Yeah.
you know about moving forward in the competition as of now? What can you tell us? You might not be able to
Yes.
tell us everything.
No.
But
I know. I'll try to like I'll speak and then it'll catch up with me later, I guess. But
We
yeah,
know very little.
we know
honestly.
very little. We
Yeah.
know that we go into wardrobe coming up soon. That's like kind of the only thing we've been told.
Yeah.
Right.
much,
In the next 2 days, which is exciting for us because I don't know how much has been released to the public, but we're able to elevate our performance a little bit, which is so exciting for us because especially for our performance, we had very minimal staging, very minimal movement. And like, you know, so for us, our creative brains are so excited that we get to like add a little glimmer, add a little
flair.
sparkle.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all we know. And we know that we get to like reunite with the people and meet for the first time the people on our semifinal episode.
Yeah.
Which is going to be really cool because our episode is stacked.
It's absolutely stacked.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. I think we're able to release today who's on our episode, right?
Yes.
Who we know.
Yes.
For sure. Yeah. And it's just like,
it's a lot of really big, amazing people.
Yeah. For us, it's just such an honor to be able to share the stage with all these incredible artists.
It's ridiculous.
No,
you guys are pretty incredible.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. That's really sweet.
And you look real pretty in person too, sort of in person here.
Oh my gosh, you're hyping us up. Don't do that.
Okay, pretty and handsome. Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
What would you say was your biggest fear in taking to the stage?
Ooh, that's an amazing question. I think the biggest thing that we were terrified of not coming across was the emotion of the song. I think in an experience like this, we get the biggest stage we've ever performed on, the biggest audience. Snoop Dogg and Kelly Clarkson are staring at us. There's so many factors.
Jewel was staring at us.
Jewel was staring at us. It was like all these, you know, pinch me moments happening. And the reason that we wanted to be on this show in the first place is to convey the message of our song.
Yeah.
And I think that can get lost a lot of times with performing. So we had our little moment backstage, like right before, and we were like, this is not for us.
It's not about us.
It's not about us. It's for everyone. Like we have to give our message, if nothing else. That was honestly, that was the biggest fear we had.
Yeah. Just to piggyback off that, our song, The Difference, is really we wrote it from a place of unity. Like it comes across as a relationship song, but to us, it's so much more than that. It's just about like, everybody's different and that's okay. And sometimes those things make us beautiful. And it was really important for us because we were nervous, like clearly, like, you know, playing on TV and stuff like that. But I had to make sure, we both have to make sure that we put our own ego aside and we're able to just like let the music speak. It's not about like, you know, anything except for the message we're trying to give. Yeah.
Okay, Sam, I know you are probably burning to ask a question, and we have neither here. So, Sam, if you have a question for neither or Nico or both,
I'm just curious about what the response has been from your respective hometowns and your home communities, like local media. Like, how has that been really bringing it home and making it relevant to your hometown? Like, what's the response been from your neighbors and from your communities?
Neither, you can go first.
I'll take it. I'll be posting a video tomorrow actually on my socials. It's kind of, I guess, in response to what the reaction kind of has been coming back to DC. I went to the gym and I had a instance today where pretty much a couple of people kind of came up and are like, "Yo, are you the guy from the TV show?" But just to kind of, you know, I guess pay their respects and kind of talk about how. For me, I think for the area here, like seeing that on that stage kind of meant and represented. So I think the feedback from me has been pretty positive. You know, I'm reading the messages, I'm seeing the tweets, I'm seeing the DMs, you know, experiencing in real time, even like being out and walking about. So I think there's a sense of pride when it comes to like representation, I guess.
Very well said.
Yeah, I think for us, so I lived in Alabama really when I was younger, so we haven't actually been back there because we live in LA now full time. But online, the response has been way better than, you know, we were kind of nervous because I was just like, being in America and being in the South, sometimes there are things that are said, especially when you're an interracial couple. And so we were kind of nervous at first, like to just like be out in the open like that.
And to represent
represent an entire state, because some people might feel like we don't represent them, but we've been pleasantly surprised with the support
and like welcomed with open freaking arms. It's been crazy.
That's good to hear.
I love that, and I wanted to leave a little bit of space because I didn't want to cut y'all off. But I also want to just ask, like, how aware were y'all of how the show would work? Because I think for some people sitting at home watching it, and especially for folks in the Eurovision bubble, we've had a show for 60 years,
Right.
Right.
to kind of go off of like, this is the format, and when they make changes, it is a press release, it is a big deal, there's
Mhm.
like a whole thing. But
Yes.
this is so new. So how much of this was kind of surprising to you? How much did you know? Yeah.
Yeah, I hope I'm not speaking for neither or Colton. It was a whirlwind. We felt like we knew nothing
Absolutely
going in,
nothing.
and we're just kind of in this dishwasher, just being thrown around, and we're like, okay,
Floating.
got it. Yep. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. And honestly, Colton and I like researched a lot about Eurovision when we started to feel that chaos, because we were like, no, this is like a proven show with an amazing community and fans and people that are in, the production of it all that have it down to a T. Like you guys know, obviously. So you still teach us stuff, but it is incredible the production that Eurovision is, and I think it's really cool for America to take it on.
Yeah.
But it's like, I feel like we were just tumbling downstairs for most of it. Like
Yeah.
truly, like just going with the flow and hoping that we don't trip on stage, because it was just a lot. But I don't know, neither Colton, you guys speak on that.
Neither. Yeah.
I would agree in some part. It is a rush and a whirlwind. But I think I would have to agree too, man. They behind the scenes, they have kept us supported, I think, on another level, man. I don't know but yeah, I'll refrain from naming names, but I felt so supported through this entire process, from staging to wardrobe to vocal coaching to just everything. So it is a whirlwind. It's a lot of things that have to happen and have to come together really quickly. But the people are in place, and the community and the support is there. One of the questions you asked earlier was how much, I guess, did we know about the show? I went and kind of dug back deep into, Eurovision and just with the spirit and, the community of that, the whole thing is. So for me, I think it was a ton of research that kind of went into it initially. But it's American Song Contest, so naturally I think there's some things on the American adaptation that would differ strongly from Eurovision and the true essence of what that is. So it's been a good process.
Thank you so much for this. And I know I can't have y'all for too long. And we've got to, be brutally honest over here and break down what happened tonight. But, and I wouldn't make y'all sit through that. And I wouldn't want to spoil it for y'all on the West Coast. But I think the other thing that I just wanted to ask before I kind of let y'all be free is, how much did your songs change before you brought it to, well, by the time like you had it kind of approved? Was what you submitted what your final product was? Or did after you submitted, it was kind of like, hey, we've got like this producer, like you could kind of work and finesse it? I'm so curious about that.
So we submitted a demo, actually. So our song wasn't even actually done.
Just a piano ballad.
Yeah.
It was very rough.
And when we submitted
Yes.
when we submitted for the show, we didn't know much about it. So it wasn't until we got on the show that we were like, oh, we should probably finish our song. So from what we submitted, our melodies are all the same pretty much, but like all the lyrics are different and stuff. And
all the production.
We definitely catered it to be more of a message that was more universal for something like this, because we wanted to make sure that we could, like, for lack of better words, reach the most people, touch the most people.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, my process was a bit different, Nico. So I actually just released the original version of my song, which follows a bit more of like a traditional like song structure.
Yeah.
For the show though, I think I was just adamant from the very beginning, like with them, just because of representing like this area, is like, yeah, it needs to have a live feel. I don't want to do something that's like extremely pop. Which is initially kind of where it was like leaning. So I don't know. For me, it was just like I came to them with the record, self-produced. A lot of the things that ended up like on TV with the live strings and with the the band and stuff like that. I kind of coordinated it, but again, I was very specific. I really wanted to pay homage to DC and the DMV in that
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And not, I don't think like a true pop record or a true like R&B record like really would have spoken to that in that way. So
Yeah.
I kind of have more control in that.
I love that.
I love that. And before I let you all go, I mean, because the guests just keep on coming, and we've got West Virginia's representative.
Yeah.
Is it Alexis?
Yo, neither. I love you, man. Nico, you
I
guys
love
are
you too.
How you
Man.
guys doing? Hey.
Good.
What's up?
Well, Alexis, I just asked them the question about like kind of how long did your song stay intact, or did you tweak it? Like, is the thing that you submitted what you kind of ended up performing, or did you kind of submit it and then it was like, hey, we've got like this team, like you could finesse and tweak? What was that experience like for you?
I wrote mine like back in 2014. So like I was like, why the hell did you guys pick this song? Of all my songs, they were like, we want that one. It's like, all right, okay. The one that was a country song initially. Sure, let's go with that one. Anyway. Yeah, so we had just done a record and we produced it the way you heard it sound, and then like 2 weeks, no, actually a week before like we were allowed, or the final say, like you can't submit anymore, I was like, I should probably change some of these lyrics because they're still pretty young, so I ended up changing some of the chorus like at the very, very deadline. So that's my story of it. Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing that. And the chat is absolutely giving you love. And my mom has her hand raised.
Hey, Mom, what's up?
So for West Virginia,
yeah.
As far as the staging, how was the decision made to add the dancer?
Oh,
Dancers,
actually,
plural.
Dancers, yes. So, you know, initially I really pushed back on having any kind of dancers. I was really just wanted to be my band and me, because that's how I perform. But the level of production on the show is obviously like a big thing, and yeah, so they were really adamant about it, and they showed me dancers, and actually it was more couples, and it was all straight couples initially. And I was like, well, it would be cool if we added in like 2 girls because I'm engaged to a girl. And they were like, that's a great idea. And then the next the next rehearsal, they were like, we took away all the other dancers. And I was like, okay, we're gonna do this. We're gonna really do this.
It looked
So that's
amazing.
what happened. But I loved it, and they did make me emotional, and so like I cried like multiple times during it because it did make me emotional. So they know what they're doing. Absolutely. Yeah.
The dancers and the dance was beautiful.
Yeah.
And I thought it really went with your song.
Oh, thanks.
Really
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
Well, I love this. I love that we were able to bring together some folks, and we're going to continue on with kind of breaking down the show. Alexis, did you get to watch the show this evening?
I did watch it. Did you guys watch it too?
Mm-hmm.
No, it hasn't aired here yet.
I did.
You did what? Okay.
Yes, we're trying to avoid West Coast spoilers here, but
Okay. I'll just say that I watched it. I watched it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, then, Nico, we will let you all be free, but thank you so much for joining the stream, and maybe we will be chatting again on the other side, you know, after. So we'll have to stay connected for that.
Thank you guys so much, and also so good to see you guys again, and nice to meet you, everyone.
great to meet you. All the best for the semis.
Thank you.
Bye. Congrats. See you later.
Bye-bye.
All right. Well, it was so great. And so we left off on breaking down the show. We really didn't get too much into the show. But California, Sweet Taboo, who was really topping the jury for quite some time of the show. Well, Lee, since you're dying, what do you think of California? And I'm going to get my wine since you got water. And I didn't get my water.
I left it on the right next to the couch.
Getting the essentials here.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that group reminded me of it wasn't original, and I hate to say it, but it just reminded me of a lot of other girl groups in the past. Even it reminds me, I was thinking of 3LW, just because, just the makeup of the group they had. And there was a number of girl groups during that time where they had like one of the girls that was rapping, and that's why it just didn't feel original. And this is what the whole point of like making original sound. So it wasn't that great to me. It was like reminding me of that Florida girl. So
Okay.
to speak.
Mom, what did you think of California?
So when I looked at the rehearsal leak, there were a lot of people in the background and on the stage, and it didn't really make sense to me. It seemed busy. But when they put it all together in the production, it made more sense. Um, I thought it had a nice beat. I actually, as I listened to the song more than once, I started liking it more. So I mean, I think it's a song you can kind of listen to and in the club and dance a little bit. And that's all I got. I guess I agree with Lee. It didn't seem to be original, original. But there was that.
Sam, what did you think of California?
I thought it was super fun. I don't necessarily say it's like the most groundbreaking original. However, it still kind of hit that sort of sweet spot that, it is something familiar. It is something comforting. That upbeat girl pop, 2 singers, 1 rapper, a little bit of Spanish blended in. Like, honestly, for me, it was a half step away from Hurricane. Like, and this is me reaching into my Eurovision bank here. But, if you had told me that this is an offcut from Hurricane, that they were doing a little bit more Spanish work, like, I could have believed you. I could have just believed you there. It was totally fun. I absolutely am on board with them ending in that was a silver medal position for them in the jury vote. More power to them. I thought it was fun. Some camera angles could have been tightened up. I think there were some points where they were being blocked by the dancers, but honestly, that's not on them. That's just camera angles. So all in all, I thought the package was solid, sweet, not groundbreaking, but absolutely a place for them.
Ha ha ha! Hurricane. Okay. I love a girl group moment. I thought that this was an elevation from that was giving similar sounds, but I thought I liked it better than like New York and Florida. So I was already kind of like, oh, this is catchy, this is boppy. I actually really liked the staging. I thought the way that they decided to bring it to life was very clean. Alexis, do you have thoughts on California?
I would say, yeah, it made me think of like early Fifth Harmony, kind of what they were trying to, a little bit of that. And then I also just want to compliment anybody who knows how to work the camera and where the cameras are at all times. And they definitely knew how to do that and work together as a group. Yeah, that's what I would say the positives were for that.
Awesome. Now let's move on to Idaho, which was Andrew Shepard. And I was getting really like some Neil Young vibes, some like Mellencamp in there. Uh, when it came on, I was ready for Twitter to like name this as our potential jury winner. I knew that it would not be. I wasn't clocking for that. What did you think of this one?
He was all right. Like I said, I think if you're comparing like that genre of music, I just thought the gentleman from North Carolina was quite a bit better than he was, and his song was better. So comparing that kind of country type of, which again is not one of my favorite type of genres, but I felt like the guy from North Carolina really hit it out of the park. It was a really good song, and I thought it was way better than that gentleman from Idaho.
Alexis.
I'm trying to remember this song. I think I liked the acoustic, feel of it, and I think he seemed authentic and yeah, like pure about what he was saying. It didn't like stick in my head like a melody or anything, but yeah, it seemed like he was authentic. So
Sam, what did you feel with Idaho?
I'm kind of echoing a lot of what y'all are saying. The song itself isn't necessarily what sticks with me, but the fact that he seemed very committed to his message, very passionate about it. Instead of like singer songwriter, I see it more as songwriter singer. That's
Mhm.
sort of almost. This is a very, very lofty comparison here, but you'll see where I'm coming from. That's sort of Dylan-esque, sort of. I'm going to get my message out there. Vocals
Yes.
maybe taking a slight
Yeah.
secondary to it, but there was definitely a point of view there. I got almost a sort of like late 60s protest singer kind of a vibe, a little bit less crunchy, but a lot of that sort of passion, like don't let the man get you down, that kind of vibe,
It's
which I appreciate.
interesting. Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned that because my notes literally say seem angry sonically and visually.
Yeah, there was a fire. There was an anger, and he was trying to get his message out. And I
Hmm.
like storytelling in my songs. I like it when there's a point of view, but this is also a song competition, and you need to have that polish. So that's where I am.
Okay, Mom.
So you guys are far more professional with your
I'm not.
Oh, I wouldn't go that
with
far.
your
I'm
assessment
definitely not.
than but it it was not my favorite. It was not one of my favorite songs, nor was it my favorite vocal, because it just seemed like the tone was up here the whole time. And I felt like he was yelling more than singing at times. And so maybe that's his passion, that's his way of getting the message across. But I would prefer some, kind of tell the story and build with your vocals, and not, if everything's up there, it's just you kind of tune it out, and I think the message can get missed. So
Okay. Um, yeah, let's move on to New Mexico, which is giving us really the only. This is our second rap song. Bree had a verse, but this is really our the only like second like actual straight up like hip hop song. Kali Soul from New Mexico playing on the aliens. So I liked that with the staging. I liked the little wink. And I was honestly like, I just felt kind of happy to have it there. And I definitely felt like I would dance to it. Like out, like if it came on, I really liked the beat. And I was feeling it. I expected the jury not to put it in a good footing for it to advance. But again, I really expected to see more of this. So Mom, what did you think of New Mexico?
I thought it was a nice beat. His video showed a lot of personality. It looked like he kind of got tired in the middle of the performance, but then his energy came back up towards the end. That was just my take on it.
Oh, I
But
would also
I
say
mean,
I like the way that they shot it. It was very Hype Williams in the beginning, so I really appreciated that reference. One of my friends is related to Hype Williams too, so I was like, I want to send the performance along because I was like, oh, I'm feeling kind of this like throwback Busta Rhymes, like with the camera and the fisheye sort of shape. So yeah, go on, Mom.
yeah. So rap, rap isn't necessarily my genre, but I do. There is some that I like.
Okay, Sam, what did you think?
Um, Honestly, I remember enjoying it. I don't remember too many details about the song itself. Unlike my Eurovision obsession, I came into this week not necessarily listening too deeply to the songs in advance. I wanted to have that sort of first impression. And my feelings were this feels good, this feels confident and competent. Am I going to remember it in a week's time? I'm not so sure. I found myself enjoying it, but at the same time, I found my thoughts wandering to the road trip that I took to New Mexico last year and really missing some, some green chili and red chili, like the Christmas, and thinking about the biscochitos that I used to eat and how much I miss, the really good spicy food because I live in Minnesota, which is a land of vanilla. And then I realized that the song was over. And it's not his fault. That's just me being really hungry right now. But
Yeah, sorry, you
no,
can go.
that's it. I just really want a biscochito right about now.
Oh, Alexis, we can go to you on New Mexico, Cali Soul.
Actually, this was probably my favorite like rap song or hip hop song of the competition. Personally, I really like Bree's song too, but I don't necessarily think, like you said, it's the same category. And I also really want to say, like, I really liked Bree too. I think she was awesome. We got along really well, and super talented girl. But back to this guy. I thought his performance was really cool. I loved his staging. I thought it was cool and unique, and I thought his performance was pretty great. It was fun and confident. So those are my notes.
Okay. Now, the people on the stream do not endorse this message.
What?
Lee, what did you think of New Mexico?
I don't need to say much. I just, I don't know. I feel like rap, it's really not going to go far in these competitions. Just, watching some of this stuff, I don't think it's going to come across well. I personally didn't like it. I listen to rap a lot. I have friends I feel like that could do better than what he did up there. So I'll be honest. That's all I have.
Yeah, but you come from the generation of people who are like, yeah, I'm a rapper on the side, with your notebooks. You probably got some rhymes.
I don't. I'm not saying I do.
got some rhymes.
I have no talent whatsoever. But I don't know. I don't know. It just didn't seem like it fit in the competition almost in a way.
But of the competition, it was like different. I don't know.
No, I think
I
think actually what a lot of Eurovision folks were kind of expecting, and I mean this is a Eurovision mindset, was that actually we would get a little bit more R&B and rap in the semis, in the qualification rounds. I thought we'd see it show up a little bit more than what we have, because I mean it's like we got like what at minimum it's like 2 country songs in every semi, but like at least 2 country songs in every qualification round, and we really only had 2 rap songs, and for really this to be a genre that America can truly stamp and say is our own without any kind of influence, I think people might have had the expectation it would show up a little bit more. But let's move on to Missouri, which notable, Missouri was supposed to be, I think, represented by someone else, and then it switched. So we had Hallie with Better Things, and I knew she seemed familiar, and she was on Songland. Alexis, I'll let you kick off. What did you think of Missouri?
I, to be honest, can't really remember that song too well. She seemed like a sweet girl. I didn't get to meet her. Yeah, that's my thought.
Mom, what'd you think of Hallie, Better Things?
So, Alexis, you said sweet girl. I said girl next door type of vibe. And her suit was distracting to me. It was pretty, it was cute. It just didn't seem to match the song or the situation. So with that, I have a question for Alexis. Do you guys get to pick your own outfits, your own costumes, or are they kind of telling you what to do?
So for the costume, my experience was I told them, what I was looking for, and then, we had like a full rack of clothes to try on, and then, we took photos, and then it was up to the producers to choose what they would like to see us in. So you have some say so in it and what your style is, and then what you'd like to try on. Yeah, so they probably saw her in that and said, "You look good in that." I don't know.
And she looked great. I
Yeah,
mean,
she did look. It was
beautiful
beautiful.
child.
Yeah.
Sam, what did you think of Missouri?
I thought the song was sweet. I could tell that there was a little bit of a nervousness there, as if she didn't have the same level of preparation that others may have. And now that I know that she was, sort of a last minute replacement, that kind of makes sense. I thought that I felt like there was some vocal wobbling that would have come with nerves, and I felt for her because I figure she's doing a heck of a lot better than I ever would singing in public. I could barely get up there and do karaoke after a couple of beers, but it's I give her a massive amount of credit. There were some touches in the presentation that definitely gave me a bit of a Eurovision vibe.
Mm-hmm.
The giant circular
Mm-hmm.
were right up, I'm like, okay, I saw that from Romania back in 2014 without the piano.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I'm almost wondering if me coming into this as such a Eurovision hyper obsessive, semi-professional, whatever you want to call me, if that's enhancing or detracting from my enjoyment of the show itself. And I think this is a question that could probably be delved into for an hour-long conversation on a whole other podcast or a whole other episode of your program. But the song itself wasn't the most memorable thing, which is a shame. So,
Yeah. Well, we already know. Go
No,
on.
I mean, no, I agree with what Alexis, Sam, everybody, Dr. Rena Sellers were saying in terms of. I don't know if it was really memorable. I think it was a sweet and nice song, but nothing, out of the other 10 folks, it just didn't seem like that kind of stuck out at all. But then, to Sam's point, you guys coming from the, and Alicia talks about this staging. Like, is it about staging? For me, it's a song. Like, if it's original and it sounds good like that, to me, as just a spectator, and that to me comes across as opposed to, oh, there was great lighting and there was great costume and there was. I don't know. To me, that doesn't matter as much as it's really about the song. I think about the more than anything else.
But you said it. You said as a spectator. This is a television show. So as much as I do think the song matters, because obviously it does, you're not going to win with a song that's really not that good, except for Eurovision 2000. But no, really. In all seriousness, like I think it is ultimately about the song. But I think part of what makes Eurovision fun is that added quality of the curiosity of how it ends up coming to life, and sort of like the excitement around seeing how someone does it. Now I will say, we don't have I have a cardinal sin, and I think I have this cardinal sin thanks to my mother. Um, but the cardinal sin is if you're going to stand on stage and you are just standing behind a mic and you're not doing anything, the expectation for how that vocal is going to be executed is going to be higher. I can suffer through some breathiness, and if you are doing all of this, like I can forgive if we're moving, but if we are standing in one place, the expectation for how that vocal will come across, I think is going to be higher, and I don't think that that's completely unfair.
No, it's reasonable.
Yeah. So let's move on to American Samoa. And we kicked off, like a lot of us actually said this was one of our favorites. So, Alexis, what did you think of American Samoa to kneel with Full Circle?
I loved her. I loved her personality. I liked her follow package. I thought they did an amazing job with her. Yeah, the whole thing, the staging, I liked how they dressed her. And I thought her song was, inspirational, and it totally fit with her and her story. And I liked it. Yeah, I was into it.
Yeah, I'm not a huge message song fan, but I bought this. I liked it. And I thought it was like the way that it was sort of delivered to me is kind of how I want. Like where it doesn't smack me in the face. It's like the message is just there. But
She
it's
was
not
cool.
like, yeah, like, but it's not
She was
like you're
cool.
gonna like this because this is a message. It just was, and I really liked it. Sam, what did you think?
You took the words out of my mouth. It was honest. It was authentic. It had a regional flair that, you could tell that this is from its region, maybe not necessarily say, oh, okay, I know that it's exactly what American Samoa sounds like, but you could tell that it is, I'm not sure if that would be considered Polynesia, Micronesia, Melanesia, but one of our island territories. And it just felt comfortable and uplifting. And again, like you, I'm not big on the message songs normally, but this was less of a preachy message song and more of I'm going to tell you where I'm coming from kind of a message song, which I get and I connected with. I love the fact that she was barefoot. That was a very Sandy Shaw, Emily DeForest kind of moment. Again, with me and the freaking references to the other contest, but you know where I'm coming from. It just felt good. I felt, you ever have a meal that you just feel good after eating it. And it's not necessarily like the heavy, it's just like I just feel like a better person after having consumed this and having experienced this. I left that 3-minute performance feeling good, and I will be voting significantly for it after we're done chatting here.
All right, Mom. I know you had already kind of
So
spoke
first of
on.
all, but first of all, I have to say, I'm not quite sure what you guys mean by a message song, because I would like to think that most songs have some type of a message. Okay, that's you have to explain that to me off camera. Okay, so this song, I liked it. I agreed. It made me feel good. There was a richness in her voice. I saw a personality, a beautiful personality behind that voice. I thought the staging complemented the song and her appearance. So, overall, I thought this was good. It was I thought it was actually a great song, a great performance. Yes, 2 thumbs up.
Well, now I have to say, just to shout it out, the chat is showing so much love to Alexis. You did really well. So shout out to the chat showing love to Alexis. Lee, you liked American Samoa.
I personally thought she was the best out of the group tonight. I thought she was amazing. I don't know what else you can say. It seems like it could, from old, regardless of the demographic, I think you could like this song. So I think it just was a good energy, good message. Dr. Verna was good message to that song. But no, I think there's really nothing you can say. I think it was just very original, uplifting, great energy, great singer. I think she was the best out of the group tonight for sure. In my opinion.
Well, I love that, but I have to be myself because people are going to call me out for it. Now, we did have a track present, and our big note was not hit, but the track hit it. So I do have to call it out because I have to be fair. But I mean, it was like up until that point, we were just doing so well. But it did seem like I could tell there was like a moment where it was like, oh, she's not about to hit this. Like you could tell where she was just like, oh, I'm not gonna make it. Yeah, like I could see that she was like, yeah, it ain't happening. So, so she moved the mic away, but unfortunately, she should have probably just left it there and just closed her mouth and just let the track do it. But let's move on to North Carolina, which we had touched on a little bit earlier. And Lee, you liked that one, so why don't you just kick off because you've been comparing other songs kind of to it. So,
what are you talking about?
North Carolina.
Oh, his name Josh Morgan. What's it?
Yeah, John Morgan.
John Morgan. Yeah. I don't know. I think I saw 2 weeks ago somebody from Tennessee was pretty good.
You like Tennessee.
And again, I'm not a big country music fan, but I thought the song was great. I would listen to it, and so that's part of it. But I just thought it was a good original song. I thought it was, I don't know, just a little bit more up tempo than other country songs that I've heard, and I just liked the energy that he had on stage as well. So it came across very well, and I thought it was a really good song. So I honestly looked at him as kind of being right behind Tennille from American Samoa. I felt like he was really up there in my opinion.
All right. I'll just let other people want to hop in on North Carolina, right in the middle.
I mean, I kind of touched on this a little bit before. I felt that his connection with the camera was less than great. Again, I'm comparing to other songs in similar genre that we'd heard earlier on in this competition, and I thought that Right in the Middle was certainly good. It was confident, but in my head, I'm comparing it to 17, or I'm comparing it to Sparrow, or to Houston from Rhode Island, which was such a high watermark in that first week. And to me, it didn't quite reach that high watermark. It was good, it was solid, but it wasn't quite as hooky and memorable to me personally. And again, that lack of connection with the camera, keeping the brim of his hat just over his eyes like that. I couldn't get to connect with him. So that kind of pulled me back a bit. And I personally even though I could see the quality of the song itself, I was surprised to see it end up third place in the juries tonight.
Alexis?
I
Yeah.
think for the song though, the song itself and the message being the song contest, I could see how it got to be in third place. So there's that. I thought it was unfortunate that he had the brim of the hat. It did not give him an opportunity to show any personality. But then when you listen to the lyrics of the song, I guess there really wasn't a, a point where he could have smiled, because he had really cute dimples in his video, but you couldn't see those in the show. I like dimples. Lee, come to the camera and smile. I like dimples.
No, I'm
Lee has
good.
dimples.
Aww.
I'm good.
Alexis, what were you feeling with North Carolina?
I thought this sounded like a Jake Owen song, if you know who Jake Owen is. It's like a very like radio friendly country song to me. I liked it. It wasn't my favorite of the night, but I did like it. I thought it was good. I definitely think it was a well written song, and he had a great country voice for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think he should consider handing that song over to Mom, your boyfriend, Jonah Prill. Why don't we fire
Yes.
it up? I think if he handed that song
Totally.
to Jonah Prill, I mean, hello, whatever country music summer stock series, we'd have Jonah firing it up and telling everybody about being right in the middle.
And
Uh,
also, like, let me say, like meeting him and hanging out with him in real life, like he is like a model. Like I mean, I know you can see that on TV, but in real life, he's beautiful and he's also so sweet and kind. And I just think, yeah, I'm excited about him too. Yeah.
yeah, so
Oh,
I mean,
you talking about Jonah? Were you
mhm.
talking? Okay. Yeah, I think Ryan could use that song too.
Which Ryan? What Ryan? Who Ryan?
You mean
New Boot Goofing.
New Goofin?
Oh Lord! So then we get Ryan to do the rap beat. Look, we're composing songs over here.
No, the
We're
thing
composing.
that I'm excited about, there are many things that excite me about this contest, but the potential of, these artists who might never have crossed
Yeah.
paths before, potentially creating something new. Like I think about, again, post Eurovision, when you had Kaino collaborating with Electric Fields from Australia, like two acts that in what universe would they have ever met? But now they're, creating something beautiful together. So I'm looking forward to seeing 6 months, a year from now, what names kind of bubble up and how they're kind of, interacting with each other and who's writing with who and who's collaborating with who. So I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to seeing what the future holds.
Yeah, so I don't want to delay. Let's move on to a really exciting entry from one of our smallest states, Vermont. We had Josh Panda with Roller Coaster. Now, I will have to say, the clarity in his like when he opened his mouth, the clarity with his vocal tone paired with the range and then diction for days. And even when he was doing those fast bits, I knew what he was saying. That is like a gift. And that is definitely a skill. Now, it was a message song, so already like dancing in in the realm that is just not necessarily my soup. But I'm not gonna lie, I wouldn't be surprised to see this advance. I mean, when he opened his mouth, it was like, oh, so you're an alto. Like just point blank, like, oh, okay, this is an alto. Alexis, what did you think of Vermont? And then I'll hop to you, Mom.
I think what I wrote down was it was definitely unique. I mean, I have not really seen anything like that, going on. Yeah. I think it was unique. I would say that. And the fact that he's from Burlington, Vermont, it's a very cool place. If you've never been, go check it out. It's a cool spot.
Great little town. Little
Yeah.
city, really. Yeah.
Mom?
Yes, we've been to Burlington. I had to drive to Burlington several times to Vermont
Very much
to
alone.
take some little person who wanted to go to camp
I
in
went to
Vermont.
sleepaway camp. How old was I when I went to sleepaway camp?
Aw.
How old was I?
What was it, 5? 5?
Wow.
I
Wow.
turned 6.
That's really
For
young.
sleepaway camp, that's
And she only
impressive.
got to go because, but she only got to go because the camp nurse was the mother of one of her classmates. So there
Ah.
was that. Anyway, I would agree with you, Alicia. His voice was very clear. The diction, his range. We talked about confidence earlier. He seemed to have an extraordinary amount of confidence, which anyway, and that the glitter jacket to me didn't match Roller Coaster, nor did any of that background of the buildings. So I'm not sure where the producers were going with that, and I think that was kind of distracting for his overall performance. So
Okay, Lee, what did you think of Vermont?
I don't know. I guess my first thought was like I was thinking in terms of his dress, like he was like reminding me of Elton John, of like just like the outfits and what he
Okay.
was wearing. I mean, in terms of his music, I think back to what Alex was saying, just very unique sound. Like I don't think I've heard someone like that before. So it was just very unique. It stuck out, but I don't know if it was the best in the show, but it was definitely very unique. So I can see him potentially sneaking through to the next round.
You know where this is what I think happened with him. I think what happened was he was supposed to be on The Voice. Because could you imagine him singing like
The phone book.
like rolling in the deep or something like that, and then it's like ka-choom, and everyone turns around and you see this dad with like long hair. Like I don't think anyone would clock it, but then this season they were all booked up. And so they were like, well, you know what, man, do you write songs? And we saw here in your bio that you did. And then he was like, yeah, I write a couple of songs. He was like, they were like, okay, well, forget about the voice. We got this other thing popping. Why don't you come on and just do this? Because that to me is someone you could have. I think he could sing lots of different things. Because isn't that the panache sort of The Voice? Is sort of the unexpected of that, and I felt that his vocal quality was very unexpected. Sam, Vermont.
Yeah, there's definitely a showmanship and a vocal quality there that almost made me think like did he grow up maybe doing a little bit of theater? There that clarity
That
kind of came
too.
from that. I definitely saw a little bit of that, and that kind of went through the sort of the street performing and the busking and all kind of squished together, and you get this. I kind of saw where the sequin jacket was coming from. That sort of showmanship was kind of coming through. And the green, I'm realizing Vermont, Green Mountain State, maybe that's where the green sequin jacket kind of came in. I don't know. Mon vert, je ne sais pas. But I thought it was technically really, really solid. Like the vocals were solid. The song, like Alicia says, message song, not quite for me. That's sort of that felt a little bit more messagey than I was normally going for. But he's an engaging performer and a
Mom.
talented performer.
Okay, Mom, you can go. I thought you were waving.
I was just gonna say, I think that'll make a good movie theme song. It sounded like a movie theme song to me.
Sometimes you're out. Wasn't it kind of like that? Round and around and on a roller coaster. Wasn't that kind of like how it went?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay, let's go, Vermont. All right, now let's move on to. Honestly, when I think of the songs that I would want to listen to after tonight, we're moving on. Guam might be my number one. That's the song that I'm like, oh, instantly on the playlist. I'm going to be listening to this. Alexis, yeah.
Yeah, so Guam was absolutely my favorite as well. I thought that was catchy. I could hear that on the radio actually if they'll play it. I think it's pretty good. I thought his voice was unique. I thought he was cool. I liked him. He was my favorite of the night, personally.
Yeah.
I liked the staging. I was into it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's do Lee.
No, he was good. I like the song. I mean, I don't think he was the best singer out of the group. So that's, I mean, out of the people there, but I think the song was definitely top two for the show. I think it was just a really unique song and definitely a unique voice. I definitely didn't expect him to sound like that, but it was definitely a very good song.
Mom, Guam.
I liked it. This episode, I feel like there were more songs that I liked that I liked, and I feel like this was one of the songs that I could listen to. I like the little harmonies in it, the little island reggae. I called it island jazz.
Okay. Sam, what did you think of Guam?
I loved it. I did. It just, again, it just happened to be coincidentally also from that Pacific Island region, but that same sort of vibe as American Samoa, that I felt good listening to this. And it was a great package. It felt comfortable to listen to. I felt uplifted. I wanted to hear more from the song. Like, I wish it was longer, but I also feel more inclined to dive into Jason J's back catalog as well to see if he's got other music. And that to me is a real victory. And to see him ending in last place with the juries, I felt like the red mist was descending. Like, I was getting ticked off that like, what, I just kind of wanted to go over to the juries and just smack them upside the head. Like, what are you thinking? This is gold. This is amazing. And it's just,
Yeah, we'll hop back to that because, like, I mean, I don't know if it's just like a build up, but I think every week I've just been kind of like, look, this is a new thing. Let's see, like, let's kind of see. Tonight, some of them jury thing, it felt like a thud. Like once it hit, it was like, wait, but for real, like,
and it makes me wonder because like at Eurovision, the juries are voting on last night's dress rehearsal.
mhm.
I'm wondering, is there something that happened during the dress rehearsal that we as a audience are not experiencing? Like, did something
Yeah,
happen?
and I think we as Eurovision folks, because we know that where it's like there are times where at the jury show, like the vocal was just like, and then you have to explain to people like, y'all did not see what happened last night. Like the
Mhm.
vocal was completely off. Like that is why, it was so low. We've had things where there have been technical difficulty where literally like cameras have jacked up, and so it was like, yeah, the visual moment in it didn't happen. But let's move on because we got two left. We had Ada Leanne, who is our jury at bands. I'm gonna just say this because these are the moments when it's like it's official. I'm old. Okay, like it's official. I'm old, and there's even some television programming that like I'll watch it and I'll just be like, listen to your parents. What are you doing? You're in high school. Like, what are you talking about? Like this is not that deep. So so when it was the breakdown of what the song was about, it was like, okay, girl, like, all right. But like I mean, I have my journals from high school, and like you go back and read it, and it's just like everything just feels so weighted. And so I'm officially old. But this was our jury winner, and our first jury qualifier that is a woman and our youngest participant.
Yes.
Yes, Ada is our youngest participant. Sam, I'll let you kick off.
I get why this won. I absolutely do. I thought it was really quite good, quite solid. I thought it was catchy. It's certainly commercial, radio friendly. You get a lot of that early Swiftie vibes that I think a lot of people I saw on social media were kind of bringing that up. I'm actually just scrolling up to see if she is listed as one of the songwriters on here, or like as the songwriter or one of many songwriters. And I'm just scrolling up to see right now for. She's the Michigander. Yep, she is one of two songwriters listed on here. It's Ada Leanne Compton and Carter John Froge for Natalie. So this is coming from an honest place. And I think many of us have been those heartbroken teenage girls. I mean, amongst the four of us anyway, of, writing that stuff into your diaries. Like, why can't I be her? Why can't I be this? and it feels very honest and real. And like we see in Matt's comment here, she performed it well. She stood there, planted her feet on stage, and sang it well.
Mm-hmm.
And she absolutely deserves credit and success and kudos for what she did tonight. So good on her.
Alexis?
Yeah, I don't know what I was expecting, but I think it was pretty good. I think the songwriting was good. The story was there. Her vocals were great. She delivered it, So, yeah, I think it was pretty good. It definitely made me think of early Taylor Swift as well, because, I grew up listening to that as well. So that brought that back for me. But that's good, and that's what teenagers are gonna like and probably gravitate towards and relate to. So it makes sense why maybe the jury picked that and they think that, has hit potential. I get it. I understand.
All right.
I thought it was cute. I thought her vocals were clear. I thought this song would also be good for a movie soundtrack.
Lee? I don't think you spoke on this one.
No, yeah, I don't know. I guess it's weird to hear someone so young talk about that. So maybe I'm an old man and it sounds weird, but she's clearly talented, and I think why she probably won number. Not only was it good, but she's 16, and so
17.
She's 17. Well, she's the youngest competitor, and I think you have that talent at such a young age. It's probably I can see why the judges voted for her to be number one.
Okay, and let's just pivot to our show closer.
Oh God.
Cisco, which I would say my number 2 song that I'm most likely to listen to is Cisco's. Like, it's up. I mean, it's about to be summertime. Come on now. We have to think about what the season is. I'm not trying to listen to something that's I want to have cocoa with and stay in the house and be cold. I want something that's like, oh, I'm about to go out, 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 out. It's up, 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 up. That's what I'm seeking. And I also will say the fact that I think he just leaned into Baltimore club music was absolutely the right thing to do for a competition like this too. And I mean, we kicked off, already in the genre, and I think hats off for that. So Mom, what did you think?
That's what I think. No, I mean, I like the song. It's not complicated. It's not technical. It's should it win a competition? I don't think so. I mean, they said that the winners are going to get their song played on iHeartRadio. I think this is a song that's going to get played on the radio anyway. So that's all I got.
All right, Alexis?
Yeah, like your mom said, it was super catchy. He's an incredible performer. So, I mean, what a way to close out the show. And it was cool to see him. He still got it. I love it. I love him. That's my notes.
Sam?
Yeah, I mean, Alexis is right. He does still have it. He never lost it. It's just, I find it funny because he lives in Minnesota now, for the record. He lives in a suburb of Minneapolis now. So I just find it funny that the first song of the first heat was Minnesota, and we are closing with the Minnesota adjacent artist. So as usual, we like to think our home state is literally in the middle of everything. So we'll just take that as it will. But I thought it was a fun, great way to close the show. You could tell that the production team had an absolute literal blast with this, the amount of pyros that were there. I thought that Cisco's his tendency towards, focusing on that dragon motif was really, really intelligent branding, both at the pyro moment as well as he's the dragon, he's the dragon, he's a dragon. I thought it was so smart and so fun. It is cold and snowy here, even as much as we try to wish that it's not. But again, Minnesota, take it as you will. but that song will melt all the snow off of my driveway tonight. Like it is that lit.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Now, Lee, go on and bring us down.
Oh God, what's he gonna say?
I just don't understand why these extremely accomplished artists come and do these shows. I don't get it. It doesn't make sense. Like,
Well, because when you said you thought it was like, well, because at first, because you're kind of saying two things. Because at first you were saying, well, I think it's an unfair advantage. But really, at this point, the only person who's really made it in is the Bolton. That's the only one. So I don't even know if that's an advantage. Slash, I think that this is just my take. I actually think the juries are coming at them with a little higher of a bar than some of the other folks. I think, like, I don't know. But I don't know if that's even like the advantage, because I think there is a natural tendency to compare. And when you get to be sort of the fresh face, maybe no one's comparing you to something, some other song that you've done. Whereas if you're Jewel, everyone's like Foolish Games, and thinking like, well, why didn't you just give us or something, something like that. Like I could see that being a disadvantage. But also then I told you, at Eurovision, there's a mix, and yeah, but you just feel like.
Well, no, I mean, listen, this is somebody that, all his songs, and it reminds me of my college days. I mean, it's, so he's set in where he's at, and I think it's interesting. I mean, he, as you ladies said, he still has it. So it's just, I don't know. It's just, and I guess I don't know much of the Eurovision or the Euro Song Contest, but it seems odd in the American, like for just accomplished artists to come back after so long, and not that they're not good enough. It just seems like it should be for new artists and people coming out as opposed to established ones. That's all it is. So It was just weird. I mean, the song was good. It just reminded me of his old stuff a little bit. That's all.
But see, I felt like it reminded me of the old stuff, but like in a good, like it still felt fresh. You know what I mean? Instead of coming here and totally switching it up, and it's like, well, why are you doing? And now I'm going to use the Melody Festival in reference.
Go for it.
But like when Charlotte Pirelli came and did that like folk acoustic song, and it is like, you are the Schlager queen. If you don't get back on this stage in a sequin jumpsuit, with the choreo, like, what are you doing? Like, what are you even here for?
Right.
So, but again, that's a time of someone where them. So you're like comparing them to what else they could do, which I don't know if that's really an advantage. And I didn't think that what we call the seasoned talent had the advantage. But then I think of like people like Alan Stone, who I knew who Alan Stone was. I know like what he sort of represents in the industry. And I was like, he's making it through. Like, I was just like, that's going to be the jury pick. And so it's interesting because although he wouldn't be considered, I think, by the masses in America seasoned talent, like he is very much so like deep in the music industry, and people know him. And I mean, and known. So I don't know. I think that there's kind of those two buckets.
I mean, it's good publicity for those.
But that could be like,
really go in and about, I want to win this contest, as opposed to just getting kind of back out there and getting this kind of free publicity in a way. I don't know.
Mom?
well, I think having the seasoned performers on there is probably more about what the producers want than necessarily the performers. But also remember, for the newer performers, this presents an opportunity for them to meet and interact with some of those seasoned performers.
Absolutely.
And before we close the show, and while I'm still talking, I just want to say to Alexa, your vocals were one of the vocals that I really like. In case you go back and look at any of the old videos, I did say I like your voice.
Well, first of all, thank you for saying that. Second of all, I want to say that I watched my hometown like follow video at the same time you guys did, like America did. I was standing on stage, and I don't know if you remember, but at the end of the package, like I'm happy crying, but like I'm a person, if I hear myself crying, I'll start crying. So I started crying. And then I was like, the first verse, I was just trying to get my vocal straight. And I was like, come on, like, get it together. And you're on stage. Like, I'm like, come right now, right now. And yeah, it was one of those moments. But thank you. I appreciate that very much. And yeah, I'm proud of myself. And it was an experience, you know. I mean, I was up against Alan Stone. I wasn't too excited about that. I was actually supposed to be on the 5th episode, but I got switched because of some other stuff that happened where they had to replace some people. So I was supposed to be on the 5th episode. So
See,
we
now
never
hold up.
know.
But see, well, first of all, your journey might not be over, but I think some
Maybe
people
not.
did
Maybe
ask.
not.
Yeah, some people did ask in the chat. Are y'all aware of the criteria of the because this is also interesting too. Because I remember when they first announced it, and maybe Sam, you can remind me. When they first announced it, they said 3
I only
fan
remember
favorites.
I only remember two.
I heard 3, and then I saw the bucket for 2. So I was like, oh wait.
I'm pretty sure it was always going to be 2 because it would have been 4 qualifiers from each of the 5, making 20, and then 2 qualifiers, so that would make 22, making it 11 per semifinal.
They fully said 3 because it was the episode. I think it was episode 2, and I was kind of like, oh okay, because I remember it being an odd number because I like even numbers. So I remember, yeah, like from my memory, it was 3, and I was kind of like, huh, like why not just 4? Like yeah, like why not just 4?
Why not make it 6?
I don't know. They didn't really tell us the criteria. They just said we're gonna bring some people back. I think it's kind of at their discretion. Maybe it has to do with some numbers. Maybe it has to do with some other factors. They did not tell us exactly. They don't tell us too much. I'll be really honest with you until like day of sometimes. So it's like, okay, well, I'm here and I'm just excited to be here and a part of it. So I just go with the flow, or try to anyway. Yeah. So we'll see what happens, right?
Yes, we will definitely see. And I just want to say thank you for joining the stream and everything. And I will close out the stream for everyone. Thanks for watching. If you are watching this video on the replay and you haven't subscribed, what are you doing? You just sat here and enjoyed this whole entire show. So you definitely want to make sure you like this video and subscribe. And if you love the Eurovision Song Contest, obviously you definitely have to connect to my channel because, I mean, we are really in Eurovision season. And I'm going to be on the ground in Turin, Italy. I actually need to like close the stream out so I can go pack. But yeah, thank you all for joining.